All right, what's up, everybody? This is Chris Talks Crypto, part of Chris Talks Crypto, well, part of Pulse on Crypto. There we go. Part of Pulse on Crypto. We're a community of people who look at the crypto market on a daily basis and make our judgments and try to make the right calls in this bull market. So today I'm here with Mike, Big Trav. We're here to talk to y'all about memes. So everyone knows about memes and whatnot. Well, not I don't even want to say everyone knows about memes. People have probably heard about Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or Safe Moon and all these other things that popped off in 2024. And
Hmm.
I think for most people, it's a safe bet to assume that, hey, that was just a flash in the pan and it's not going to happen again and all this other type of stuff. But I have a different opinion of that. I think Mike has a different opinion on that as well. So I'm here to get some of really both of our opinions and just kind of dispel some of those myths that we have. So you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So Michael, aka Big Trav, at this point, um, yeah, at this point, we're just studying the market every day. Moving, adapting to kind of what the new trends are, and obviously, I mean, meme coins and altcoins in general are about to explode. During Q4. I mean, at this point, I mean, just looking at the numbers, you can't ignore it. So, it's time for us to start paying attention, and that's kind of our purpose at this point is to shed light to where the money's going because it's a lot of money to be made, in these markets over the next couple months. So very, very exciting.
Yeah, definitely a lot of money to be made. So with that, I mean, my background, I've been trading for about 5 years or so, and I've done forex trading with the currencies. I've done indexes. I've traded some with crypto. I haven't gotten too much into like the crypto futures where they're trading these small cap tokens and whatnot. But we're pretty well versed with trading. I know you are too. So like, what's kind of your
Mhm.
background with trading?
Yeah. So I started in 2019 actually. So like 1 year after being in college and having a corporate job, I'm like, yeah, this corporate stuff isn't for me. So I started getting into trading and kind of had the same background getting into forex, and just studied every day for probably 2, 3 years straight. Just studying patterns, more technical analysis, honestly. And then just over the years, just refining that. And then last year, after having my son, I moved from forex, which I mean, last year in 2023 was the big year of like regulation. So a lot of, different brokers, moved overseas. And if you didn't give 1 to 30 regulation at that point, then you weren't going to stay in the US. So once that happened, I moved over into the crypto world. So it's been a year, almost October of just every day locking in into the crypto world and really just studying it. So that's kind of what I've been doing the last year. Kind of sitting on my hands, seeing what communities, what are the narratives that will run this, bull run. And so now it's just kind of the time to put the next foot forward and really go all in the crypto because I mean I think like you said I think it's going to be the next big internet bubble. I mean just the way we're going, as much debt as we have. I mean the government needs something to save us at this point, and I mean crypto is all we have, and I mean definitely for the just general population goes. So
Yeah,
yeah, very very exciting.
I would agree too. Like the whole aspect of like if there was something better than crypto that was out there or had been out there and like that could potentially be used, that hey, maybe we'd be looking at it, and maybe it's something that potentially the different governments around the world could use. But at this point, the people have spoken. Bitcoin's been out for about 15 years at this point. Altcoins a little bit less, what we'll call it 9 to 10 years, and those are evolving every single day. But the big thing is here, it's like we're looking at the different categories. We talked about meme coins with them being so big. We talked about like altcoins. Altcoins were big in 2021. Like that was the big thing. And then like 2017 was the basic things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, like those major tokens. And you see them a couple years later. Hold on real quick. I gotta plug my computer up, but I got that warning light real quick. I was like, I don't want to die on us in the middle of this interview.
Yep. Yeah, you'll have a couple seconds.
Yeah, I got a little bit. But no, okay, so we're good. But anyway, so that yeah, we've been talking about the meme. So like I know like one thing that traders look at is risk to reward ratios. Like that's the big thing. So it's like how much am I risking based on how much could I get back in return? So like, we've seen with memes, and I've done it personally to where it's like I've hit a 100x before. That's
Mhm.
not possible in forex or in trading indexes. I wouldn't even say in stocks or options like that. It's just
Yeah.
something that I have not seen before to where sure there's a lot of duds for sure, but like this is where it's like it's even possible that you could
Mhm.
not only hit 100x but actually realize that 100x too. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
unless you, like you said, unless you are part of like an IPO, which I mean, how many big companies do we have that are creating at this part, at this part of, the timeline, right? I mean, like Nvidia, Facebook, Meta, X, I mean, they're already there. They're already billion trillion dollar companies at this point. So it's like, what is going to be the next company? It's not going to be too many, Amazons that come along and take over the market like they have. And I think that's kind of the realization too, is just realizing like, okay, there's not many cars left, and the cars that we do have, the typical, like you said, corporate jobs, just looking at regular inflation and how that impacts life. It's like, I mean, we can't keep going on this trajectory, right? And so, of course, hopefully crypto is, kind of that avenue that is, able to spread out the generational wealth, right? Because like you said, there aren't many that are able to, get into an investment in, 10x, 100x, 1,000x in a couple hours, right? And
yeah,
then that doesn't happen too often. So I think that's the biggest thing, is looking at this shift in this tide of technology and realizing where we are in AI. And like you said, I do think this is going to be like the last big like altcoin bull run. After this, then it's going to go to more in regulation. And I mean, you need at least 100K to even play with Bitcoin at that point to see good profit. If not, it's like you said, you need to go back to one of those other asset classes. So, um, yeah, it's a lot of upside potential, a lot of low market caps right now that, like you said, are gonna, 100x, 1,000x overnight, especially depending on the narratives, especially if those narratives go. I mean, we've seen, I mean, already the moon ding, or, the hippo meme coin just go, I mean, just ballistics just off a couple tweets, right? So it's like, I mean, at this point, crypto's everywhere. I mean, even in an election, right? We have president, starting what, Tuesday, having his own crypto. So that's definitely going to bring some of the older generation into crypto, some of the big, older money. And that's what we really need, right? I mean, a lot of the younger generation, lower age people are, kind of all, maxed out at this point on their investments. So we need some of the older whales to come in and move the markets.
yeah, and I think a lot of that's going to come as we like you said, I think a lot of people are waiting on what the results of this election. Either way it goes, like obviously you're not gonna, whether it be Trump or Kamala, you're not. Neither one of them is gonna stop the bull run, because like that's math, like that's programming. It's not gonna stop Bitcoin from going over 100K or anything like that. So, but realistically, like you said, a lot of the retail traders who have been into crypto right now, they've kind of tapped them. They kind of tapped themselves out. Like they have the money, and whatever gains they've made, it's like you have to keep on injecting money into the market for like the market caps to grow and whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, so with that, the beautiful part about that with memes is, um, like you said, you could have a sub 100K market cap, or a sub 1 million market cap, or a sub 10 million market cap, and let's say that meme token runs to, I don't know, 100 million or 500 million or something, which is more than possible, and something that we have seen at this point. We have proof of concept, right? We've
Right,
seen it
right.
happen over and over and over again, to the point where it's like, all right, well, most of the time, I know at least for you and I, like the amount of time that we've really been looking at this, um, past 6 months has been a downtrend, and like still there's been stuff going on. So it's like I can only imagine what it looks like in the heat of a bull market, when the FOMO is real and all the degens are back, the new retail's back, Wall Street's back, Main Street's back, and it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I was looking at some numbers today, just looking at, how much Bitcoin is in circulation, and just looking at like just over the last 2 years, right? One out of every two Bitcoin haven't moved. I mean, I think it's like 50% now at this point that haven't moved in the last 2 years. So we know that there are long-term investors. And I mean, just think about it. Okay, they got in 2 years ago. I mean, we were what, sub 20K? Let's just say 20K, right? Average. And right now we're at 60K, and those people are not selling, and they're up 3x. So it's like, okay, at the low end, end point, it's like, okay, they're at least looking for what, a 10x, right? That's what usually the mind goes, is like, okay, what are your investment? A 10x, right? So it's like, okay, well, we know for sure then if they're getting in at 20K average, then that 180K is easy, because we know 200K is coming, right? And I
Yeah.
think that, that's the numbers that I started looking at today, where it's like, I mean, we really have to just look at supply and demand. And it's like, I mean, yeah, you can sell it for so long, but I mean, we're running out. I mean, we can only mine so much every day, and I mean, at this point, it's like
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, once we cross, I mean, just looking at the chart, once we cross above that 65K or so, like you talked about on the video, the YouTube video, above that parallel channel, I mean, it's gone. And it's like you said, the FOMO is going to kick in that 70K and 80K might be 20 minutes apart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think that's a part that people aren't realizing is, I mean, yeah, we're in the start of that bull market, but the bull market is like it's literally gonna, those green candles are gonna, move the screen at that point, and that's what we're setting up for right now. Then over the next, I would say, next month or two,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, and it's one of those things that with those, you look at Bitcoin, you look at its price history. If you really look at it, even over the past 2 years, out of those 24 months, I'd say probably 3 to 6 of them were where stuff was really moving. And everything else was just either sideways or down and sideways and stuff like that. So there's Bitcoin in that instance, and the Ethereums of the world that we talked about a 10x maybe that would be good for someone getting into Bitcoin. That's something they would look for. Now it's at 60K now. I don't believe that we're
Right.
going to 600K, so that you're not going to get 10x
Yeah.
here. But if you
Yeah.
did get in, like 20K, 25K, I think I don't know if a 10x is crazy. Um,
And that's the thing. I think that people are, will miss once the bull run comes, and like nobody's able to call the tops because you're still thinking it's going to go up at that point. And I think that's what's going to happen, where it's like you got to realize where money got in and where they're wanting to take profit. Like you said, like the people that got in at 60K, they're not trying to take profit at 120K. Like just 1x is not. I mean, it's not worth it. Especially if you buy. I mean, you buy a whole Bitcoin. You spend a whole $60,000. It's like, I mean, yeah, 1-to-1 risk, but at least give me 2 to 3 to feel good about it, right?
something, yeah.
And
And it's
especially
like,
if
so
we're in the
we
bull
look at
run.
we look at these, like, let's say 200, 300%, which, for a year is cool if you're looking at a traditional market. This isn't a traditional market though. But then we look at memes. So memes for that same time period where Bitcoin goes 3x to 5x, let's say in the next 6 to 9 months. We don't know where it's going to land. These memes, these top memes like Whiff and Bonk and Brett and GameStop and all these other ones that are on the blockchain, they may go, I mean, 10x. I'm not even getting out of bed unless it's a 10x, like, for sure. But like realistically, some of these are going to pump 50x, a couple of 100x, and you will see some 1000xers that were just sleepers. So it's those type of gains, and these are like the life changing games that we see coming from memes. So yeah, is that
Yeah,
the
no, no, I agree. And
dominance?
yeah, that's exactly what it is. So just looking at others' dominance, it's like, okay, like just looking, like you said, since 2017, seeing where we peaked back then, seeing where market control was, it's like, okay, we have been sitting at this 9 or so% for, I mean, since 2023, right? I mean, really 2022 is
Yeah,
once we started bouncing off that level. And it's like, okay, we're just now starting to get that, inverse head and shoulders. And it's like, okay, once we get above, 10.5%, I mean, it's altcoin, season at that point, and you're not slowing down. And I think
yeah.
that's the thing people realize is, I mean, trying to wait till January, January 2025 is going to be too late. I think it's going to happen a lot quicker than people realize. Because a lot of people are sitting on cash too. You got to think of the last couple of weeks or just the last couple of months, stocks and, I mean, just the overall, economy has been tanking just because people are getting ready for cash. We're like, okay, what's coming?
Yeah.
And I think this is what it is. It's just the next revolution. And, how do you call that? You don't, even when we were in the internet bubble, you don't, like if you're used to the newspaper and things like that, you're like, that's not going to take off until it does. And it's too late.
Until it
So,
does, yeah.
yeah.
And
So you
for
get in.
reference, I was about to say, for reference, this is that 10% that we're looking at, that 10.24%.
Mhm.
That is what was this the total, is this that's the top 10. Never mind. That's the top
Yeah.
10 dominance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
So,
that's everything excluding, that's like Ethereum, that's your Solanas, that's all that stuff. That accounts for 10% of the market cap. So everything minus Bitcoin. Um, Bitcoin is number one, obviously, and then the top 10 after that. I'm assuming this is what that's looking at.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
And just going even just to look at total, right? Because I mean that's what I mean. Obviously, we want to know looking at others' dominance to see when altcoin season starts. But I mean, obviously, we're there. It's just going to take one candle to bounce off that 10%. And I mean, we're gone. I mean, but just looking at the total crypto market in general, I mean, the money obviously has been flowing in, like we said, we're creating those higher highs. And I mean, I think once we hit, that 2.25 trillion, I mean, I think that's really when it's
Yeah.
gone. And like we said, it's money's gonna come quick. Like we said, a lot of people missed, I mean, even including myself, we missed that 2019, 2020 bull run. I mean, we're too worried about, surviving and things like that. And it's like, okay, you kind of feel that regret and like, oh man, what happened? And that's been accumulating for 3, 4 years. And you got to think about it, this one is going to be even worse because people weren't leaving the house for the last 3, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like when that last one hit, everyone was in the house. I mean, the last 3, 4 years have been 10 years in our eyes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't downplay what's going to happen with these meme coins. And like we said, just knowing, okay, cool. We know Bitcoin. We know Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. We know Bitcoin is going to 100K in general. Um, and then looking at, just overall total market cap says that, the crypto market is about to 2, 3x in general. I mean, so you just got to think what it's going to do to those altcoins. I mean, we're going to be, 1,000x overnight.
Yeah, and we look at it, right? So like that's total market cap. So that's Bitcoin and everything. So
Mhm.
but you think about like the meme market cap might be the hundreds of billions range and not even a trillion yet. So if you add um let's say a trillion or two to the at the peak of it when everyone's in a frenzy, if you add 2 trillion to something that's already almost a trillion, okay, so now you're sitting somewhere around 3 trillion. But again, the market capture is so small. You add 3 trillion to Bitcoin right now. Okay, well, you got a 3-4x. That's fine.
Mhm.
But like you add a trillion, and let's say something like GameStop, they have a sub
Yeah.
1 million market cap right now. You add, let's say, 100 million to that. All right, well, suddenly you're up 200x in a very short period of time. And like it's amazing because like again, we it's one of those things with now obviously knowing where I'm at in the cycle now,
Mhm.
you can kind of sit on your hands for months and months, and then like just wait until all right, well everyone's coming back. You go ahead and place your orders, but you can't get
Yep.
these returns anywhere else.
And that's the thing too, is like you said, is I mean, it's pretty much altcoins and meme coins in general. I mean, especially the ones that we're looking at, like a GameStop, like you said, that is a sub 1 million market cap. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a leverage bet against ETH, and we know ETH is gonna 2, 3x. Like you said, I mean, the impact it's gonna have on the market cap is gonna be, I mean, $1,000 could be $1 million impact to their market cap, depending on how much supply is there, how much is left, how much is burned.
Yep.
Um, and so I think that's another thing is that's why I think it's going to be even bigger than what we expect in altcoins. And like I said, just knowing like, okay, that's where majority of the money is. That's where the retail is. Retail is in these meme coins. They're not, they're degen. That's what this summer is. Well, the summer's over, but that's what this year is. And just looking at the halving year, it's like, okay, cool. We know, going up until the halving, we expect, things to pop off right before. People trying to get a little bit of gains and they sell right after, and they sell during the summer, sell off summer, and then they come back going into, the election year. And it's like, you know what happens. You know what I'm saying? You just have to study it. It's we have to look at that. And I think the biggest thing too, to look at with meme coins are the new networks. I think that's going to be the biggest shift. People are thinking that, some of these meme coins that have been around since the last cycle, they won't make it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people want new. I mean, of course, there are going to be a few memes that, the GameStop, some of those ones that we know that are like, okay, they're going to go no matter what. Like, the community is too big no matter what it is. Kind of like election stuff. Anything tied to election is going to go, whether
Yeah.
it's overnight, whether it's in a quick sensation. So I think that's the thing to look at is just like, what's to come for the next couple months. I mean, we cannot deny that this leveraged bet is kind of, everybody's in the same boat, right? Like we're
Yeah.
all, looking for, Christmas money and Thanksgiving money, and holidays are coming up and people want more money to be able to do what they want to do, and new year, new me, So it's like yeah, I mean it's and I think that's the greatest thing about crypto is like with the fiat side, we know, of course, the dollar is going down. It's not worth the same. But it's just, being able to look at crypto into the psychological part, like, what we're doing at the Pulse on crypto. I mean, it's just like, it's so many moving parts to it. It's not just the fundamental aspect. We know Bitcoin moves on a fundamental aspect, but there are some other aspects as well that move it as well. and altcoins are kind of they magnify that, and I think that's the best thing about it is, like I said, there's a lot of leverage and a lot of a different volume coming into those that a small shift, of money will shift the market crazy.
Well, yeah, no, and you said a couple things there. So I think with kind of the difference between like we do a lot of fundamental on-chain technical community analysis, all this type of stuff. We do. I mean, it's actually impressive. We do quite a bit in Pulse on crypto, just the amount of stuff that we look at. But almost with Bitcoin and crypto, it's a little, and we both traded indexes and forex and all that type of stuff. It's a little bit different because like with forex, I really don't care what's going on in the international news or whatever. It's like I'm looking at the chart. I'm doing my technical analysis in the morning. The trend is up, so I'm gonna keep trading up and so on and so forth. But with Bitcoin and crypto, I have to look a little bit more. It's like who's the community, who made this, like what are the tokenomics, like who shares this, and like so on and so forth. And even with Bitcoin, like I said, most of the time it's not really going anywhere. But you do have those spurts once it gets to the end of a trend, like we are now at the end of this channel, where it starts to move for 6 to 9 months straight. Um, and with that, like I said, you can kind of sit on your hands and just like accumulate. You don't have to worry about the ins and outs and trading and whatnot. So I mean, I think that's one of the benefits of it
Yeah.
really. So
Yeah, no, I agree. And like you said, that's the biggest thing is altcoins move a whole lot more for smaller money. I mean, that's what we want, right? I mean, you want more money to come in and make way more gains, right? You want to, make the best possible gains. And like you said, the risk to reward, like you said, with those meme coins, with those ones that we're looking at in the group chat, it's just like you said, what are
we're
the
really not, like I said, we're not getting out of bed for anything less than the 10x. Like
no
it's not
and
even worth like, oh, 10x like that. A 10x at this point is something to me like Doge or something
yeah,
to be like something to be a legacy coin that's already
yeah,
had maybe billions of market cap and so on and so
yeah.
forth. Like, but yeah, no,
Like
you gotta go for what the money is now, and you may have to dig through the trenches a little bit to find that. But
mhm.
again, that's why we have so many people doing it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. And that's the thing here. Let me go to I wanted to look at here. I'll look at Brett over here. I wanted to look at Brett because it just crossed a billion today
That's pretty.
again for the first time since August for real. Um, but I mean we've been in this little consolidation for this is a daily time frame
Yep.
and we've been sitting there for a long time. So like we talked about kind of the next steps on the meme cycle and kind of what are the networks to really make a new impact. I think Base is going to be the next one. We all know about Solana. The thing
Mhm.
is, there's not a. I mean, they're trying to put their foot down, but I mean, honestly, there's just a lot of pump and dump there. Like it's hard to know who owns what. You know what I'm saying? There's not much stringent rules or regulation for it. And I will say, Base is doing a good job of like really looking to see like, okay, if you haven't been the meme coin hasn't been around for at least a year, then they won't even list it. Which I mean, thankfully that starts to get a little bit of trust in that crypto world, which is what we were looking for, right?
Yep.
Um, but just looking at just like I said, Brett, and which I don't hold any Brett. I haven't since it was way down in like 20, 30 million. I thought it was, kind of overhyped, so I didn't think it was going to go too
Yeah.
much more.
It's like you never
Um,
know, right? Like
yeah,
the dumb stuff like this, you never know.
yeah, and that's the thing. And it was like, okay, hit a billion. I was like, okay, it's probably done. And that was in June. That was peak June. And then it went right to 2 billion like the same day. I was like, oh man, like this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Um, but no, that's the thing is I just looking at this one, I think that this is one of those indicators though for the network. Like I said, Base is one of those ones that's been around. It got the Coinbase approval, started to use it in the marketing and stuff. Um, but this is one of the ones that show you like, okay, the money is moving in Base. There's a lot of money there. I think once we cross those all-time highs, which I mean at this point it won't be too long. Once we start taking out those, 1.8, 1.9 billion
Yeah,
market cap,
it's
once
not
that's
even
taken.
2x.
Right. And that's the thing is I think once people that are in right now get there at least 1x, I think that's when it gets interesting for Base. And I think that's when we start seeing a shift. And we start to see it already in Solana. They're starting to sell off some of the Solana pairs that have been going good this last week or so, the coins or whatever. So I think, like I said, the money's gonna flow into Base, and then I mean from there it's just gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and I think it's you kind of hit on it. It's a rotation, right? So it goes Bitcoin goes up first, and then some of that will rotate into Ethereum. I think Ethereum and Solana they'll start rotating at the same time into Ethereum and Solana, and then you have the major Ethereum and Solana memes, and then you have finally the lower cap memes. So it's like once you start getting to that range, then you'll start to see it. But yeah, it's all about the rotation aspect here, and like you with like base, like you were saying, Brett is a good indicator for what's going on in base, just because again, it is the number one. So regardless, it's the first one that you see.
Mhm.
So you know, if you know nothing about memes, you're gonna go to the first one and say, oh well, this one's been growing, we're gonna go to this one.
Yep.
Um, and since like base is based on Ethereum, so it doesn't have its own native token like Solana, but they say things like Brett and then Aerodrome too, since that's the DEX.
Mhm.
Aerodrome is a good kind of almost proxy for how base is doing, because like the more Aerodrome goes up, that means people are using it, which means more people are using base.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
so
And
yeah,
and I think another one that people, which I mean, of course, we're looking at, but just Coinbase, their stock in general, that's what we need to look at. Is the
yeah,
company making money, right? Like, I mean, of course, we know just looking at the metrics. I mean, yesterday they passed the most daily volume for Base, so of course the transactions are going up. Volume is still inflowing, right? They didn't have the summer they expected. But just looking at their stock, I mean, it held that 160 level. I mean, like we said, since August again, right? And everything's bouncing since August. And we kind of got a glimpse of it in August, thinking like, okay, Q3, we may start a little early. But people just like, well, once the sentiment came out where everyone was like, it didn't happen until Q4, it didn't happen until right before the election. Everybody was like, okay, cool, I'll just wait for a couple of weeks. So they took it out for a couple of months, which is understandable, right? We have a lot of day traders. A lot of people don't want, money's hard to come by, right? So just looking at Coinbase, I mean, it looks like the stock has rebounded. It's starting to build that support on that daily, and I mean, I think honestly, I mean, I think it's going to keep going. I mean, we can tell, like I said, it's on the higher time frame. We've already created that inverse head and shoulders, and I think we're just going to keep going up. It may be 200-300 by the time that this bull run is over. And that's on the low end, right?
yeah,
280, 300. I mean, it's gonna be light work at that point. So I think that's another thing to look at is just all the signs are there. The networks are getting the transactions. We see the companies that are owning these crypto exchanges are starting to push revenue. We have the elections. We have 200 or so days after the halving event. Everybody's like, okay, it starts this many days after, and that's the thing now is kind of everybody wants to be like, I was right, I called it, and so everybody's kind of waiting on their hands, and that's what I'm seeing a lot. Which I will say is shifting how I exit the market with altcoins, because they're going to be multiple cycles. But I think just in 2024 we're going to have one peak before we sell off a little bit going into the new year, and
yeah.
I kind of want to take advantage of that. So definitely get into the pulse on crypto to get that inner workings of kind of what's going on. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things like we said, you have to be continuously looking, because like even the moon day thing, it happens overnight. Like people like think you're joking, but it's like I've seen things go 20x in the span of 2 hours, like or more. Like it just depends on like when it really comes out. But it's like this type of stuff is like you hear about it, and if you don't hear about it soon enough, then you just kind of lost, because like you don't want to get into something that's already peaked, and that's what a lot of people end up doing. Is
Hmm.
they hear about these doges and Shiba Inus and all these crazy meme coins, and then they think, oh yeah, it's time to get into that now. It's like, well, bro, people made the money already. Like
Yep.
once it gets to that peak and it starts running, people already made the money.
Yep. And that's the
Yeah, no,
thing.
stuff like this, like
Here, let me change it so you can see the right. Like, I mean, this just launched. What did it say? September 10th, right? So it's not even a month old. And
yeah.
it's like, I mean, of course we know what's going to happen, right? But it's at $130 million market cap. And I mean, it hit, what is that?
Well, I mean, look at
3.6.
all those zeros at the bottom of that chart compared to where the 0.13 that it's at right now. Like that's
Right.
it killed off like three zeros
Yep.
um in a row. Like that's huge. Again, you don't see those type of gains anywhere else.
Nope. And that's the thing. Like I said, this was at three like 340 million. What was that? A couple weeks ago. Well, yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's the thing is just, and this, like I said, this just blew up overnight. And that's the thing is, so I think that's the biggest thing is the narrative. What is the narrative? I mean, of course, we're gonna have these funny memes and this, it's degen, right? We can't, fortunately, we can't get rid of it. We're gonna have Iggy go and have a really good crypto, like that's just surprising, right? So, I mean, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
But like you said, the next cycle, looking at those narratives and those ones that are going to play, and I think there are a couple of narratives that have been around for a while and people really stand behind and 100% agree with no matter what, and are bigger than kind of the token or company themselves. So hopefully there are a couple of ones that are,
And I
make those
think
impacts.
And I think with this, like a lot of people get caught up on like it's silly because Moondang is literally just a hippo. That's it. It's nothing else.
A baby
People get
hippo.
caught up on the fact that it's so dumb. It's this and the third. You got to literally block that out because it's not. It's not. It's nothing about. People get so caught up on this utility and like it has
Yeah.
to do something. But we listen and we'll talk about it in a bit. Murad's conversation at I guess it was Token 49 in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
Where he kind of explained the meme outlook. He said, if you look at all the top projects in crypto,
Mm-hmm.
they have all been about speculation. They haven't been
Yep.
about the utility or the tokens or anything like that. It has all been how do I speculate and make as much money as possible. Now,
Yep.
I think that really kind of lines up with the whole .com bubble thing because too, like it was a whole bunch of crap with no
Yep.
real basis in reality. But again, like they were creating all these names and stuff back in 2000 and stuff ran absolutely. I mean, you can still see it on all the charts. Like there was a year or so where everything just ran up to the moon. Anything even semi-related to tech
Mm-hmm.
ran up to infinity. So I think we're probably going to see that again this cycle because, like, again, Bitcoin's been around for 15 years. The internet was around long before the .com bubble, and slowly
Mm-hmm.
you hit that critical point to where it's like enough people know about it to get the hype going, which we're at there now because 2021 happened. I think everyone kind of realized it. 2017 maybe, but like now we're at that
Yeah.
point where it's like really enough people know about to where you can hit that critical mass real quick.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's the thing is like you said with that 2021 it was so special, which it's always going to be one of those asterisk years with everything, right? No matter what the industry is, but definitely with the crypto bubble, it's like it happened, and then we were all like, "Wait, what happened? He made
Yeah.
how much with what?" And it was too late. Like you just there was no process. It was like, "Yeah, I've been holding this for 2 months. Too late now, but surprise, like I'm a millionaire." And it's like, "Wait, what? I didn't even know that. Like you weren't even thinking that was possible, right?" And I mean, because we hadn't seen up until that point, we hadn't seen that type of trajectory in those altcoins and those things besides Bitcoin.
Unheard of.
And yeah, and I think that's the thing now is just looking at it like, okay, cool. We know that altcoins, I mean, there's going to be $1 trillion industry at this point. There's no way around it. Everyone's putting their money into it. Like I said, unless you have $100,000, you're not putting it into Bitcoin or Ethereum, the big three. So it's like, what do you put your money into? And even if you're guessing, even if you're playing 100% degen, it's like we just want money. We don't care what's for. I mean, they're like I said, now the ones that have the meaning are going to be the ones that do crazier numbers than what we expect. I mean, those are going to be the multi-billion-dollar market caps. I think there are going to be a few that touch above 10 billion. They're not going to be many, but I think there are going to be some that, I mean, they have the motion, you know what I'm saying? And there's no way around it. So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is just kind of like I said, just knowing like, okay, the utility that's not what this cycle's for. There may be some that like, okay, we care about this purpose or this cause, but that's here today, gone tomorrow. That's not gonna.
Yeah. And it's it's weird because like if you come back and a lot of people from 2021, two things. Number one, they might have made money, but from my experience, with me talking to them, a lot of them have no idea how they made money at all.
Nope.
They have no idea what the market was looking like. They just one of their buddies told them to throw something into something. They threw it in. They made money.
Yep.
Everyone was
Yep.
making money at a certain point. That's going to happen again. But the thing is, I think us and us as Pulse on Crypto and also a lot of other people, anyone who's stuck around after that time period or started paying attention in the last 6 to 9 months, you have a much better grasp of okay, why do we make money back then? What are these cycles of Bitcoin about? Because one obviously 2013 you can't tell. No one could have guessed that. 2017, I really say you probably couldn't have guessed that either because you only had one piece of data to show for it. 2021, maybe you could have looked at the first two and been like, all right, but this thing has happened 3 times. It looks like it's about to happen a fourth. you should be able to like put something together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's gonna be an interesting next 4 months, and we definitely haven't hit the FOMO period yet. I mean, I know people they haven't started calling you in the way that I know that
Yeah.
they will.
Yeah.
Nothing like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, that's the thing is, like I said, once we get to that point where people are starting to catch on, it's like, yeah, I've heard of this or I've heard of this. So I think that's where those tokens that have the community, and I mean, if at this point, if the dev haven't left and it's the CTO at this point, and you guys are pushing it every day with Twitter and raids and things like that, I mean, it's going to be hard to really get that light unless it is like you said, it is a meme like a hippo or something that has a mascot, but it the thing about it is it's hard to have one against celebrities because any little thing that they say from 20 years ago or whatever will come back, or there's always going to be something when it's tied to celebrities. So it's like it has to be like a non mascot person, or what I'm saying, like a non inhumane person at that point. So it's like, I mean, it's only so many to choose from. So yeah, we
Well,
definitely need those
and we can talk
communities.
about those celebrity coins for a second too, because like I
Yeah.
think. Well, actually, I'm gonna pull up those slides from the Murad's conversation in a second here. But like
Uh,
one of the things that he talked about was the fact that a lot of these altcoins that were around last cycle were pretty much like they were VC money, like venture capitalist money, to the
yeah.
to the point where like they had these seed rounds and people already got in, and then by the time that stuff actually took off and everything, it drew in all the hype, everything, and then everyone who caught in right there was exit liquidity for the venture capitalists, and they got all their money. But now memes have shifted to where it's like, okay, it's the community. So where in the past you might have only been realistically able to gain 0.1% of the market cap, or 0.3 or 0.5, whatever. Here, you
Mhm.
may find some low cap tokens where it's like, hey, I might own 3% of this total market cap. And
Yeah.
if this goes to, I don't know, let's say a million, what's 3% of a million? Is that not 30,000? That's still
Mhm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Or it goes to 10 million or 100 million, you just scale it up as needed. But I think those days are over, to where like we have these big bloated tokens to where it's like, obviously everyone has gotten in beforehand,
Hmm.
uh, and now we're just dumping on everyone. That sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks for everyone
Yeah.
involved.
And that's the thing too, is so looking at that, and as far as forecasting goes and next steps, it's like, okay, well, we know that there are just a handful that are still around, like you said, that came in through that way with VCs, where now it's like, okay, if you aren't already in the market at this point and have some data to look back at, it's going to be hard to get people to invest in, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
unless it's just strictly off of hype, which I mean, there's going to be one or two a month, right, at this point, right? Because we need something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, at this point, it's like, yeah, you're not allowed to do that. So you have to have some data to look at. And if there's no community, there's no website, there's no, put together plan, right? Or like I said, if it's just all owned by one person or two people, it's gonna be easy to get.
Yeah. All right. Can you see this?
Yep, yep.
All right. Yeah, so we're looking at this is right now. This guy, I mentioned his name a couple times. His name is Murad. He is a former Bitcoin maxi, which means that he's pretty much all in on Bitcoin. That's his thing. Um, but he is, over the past couple months, very much so shifted to memes, and like he gave a whole presentation. It's about 20 minutes long. I do encourage y'all to look at it. His token 24 Singapore. I'm sorry, token 2049 Singapore presentation, and he kind of looked at these things like, so this is his summary of the presentation. Like I said, you can look at it for yourself. But meme coins are simpler than tech alts. So like you've seen these super complex white papers and all this type of stuff. I'll be honest with you, most people didn't read the 9-page Bitcoin white papers. So they're definitely not reading, these 20-page white papers for something that may not even do what it says. They're more liquid than NFTs, meaning I can get in and out of these quickly. And the problem with NFTs is a lot of those are one of ones. They're one of ones, so it's like I have to sell this to someone who wants this particular one of one. That's hard. That's difficult. They're safer than DeFi. No smart contract risk. Like a meme coin token. I mean, really, I think for the most part with meme coin smart contracts, the only thing that they're changing is the name for the most part. Like
Yeah.
the logo, perhaps nothing crazy. Um, no inflation. So the tokens are all fully circulating. So one of the metrics in crypto is fully diluted value versus market cap. So sometimes tokens, a lot of these altcoins will have what we call a token unlock. So it's like they'll release 50% of like maybe the tokens, and then over the next like 5 years, they'll start releasing, I don't know, 10% a year until you get to 100%. But with meme coins, it's like they release them all at once, and then whoever picks them up picks them up. Um, we talked already about the VCs dumping on you, and like again, they kind of got their money early on. Actually, they did the math. So meme coins have better odds of winning than sports bet casino. So even with that, I mean, I know we looked at what was that Pump Fund? Even with the abysmal stats that Pump Fund had, it was still better than just playing the lottery. And pump fund stats were absolutely crazy, like literally like
Yep.
0.1% win rate or whatever. Um,
Crazy.
so
The
yeah,
lottery at that point. Like
it is, and apparently it's better than lottery. But meme coins offer more volatility and excitement. Yes, I mean they just move more. That's fact. Fresher narrative. Again, some of these altcoins are 4 or 5. I mean, if you look at some of the old ones, like they may be 8 years old at
yeah.
this point. There's no more real hype. Once everyone knows about something, there's not really that much hype anymore.
Yeah.
Um, we talked about it earlier. Meme coins give retail a chance to win, which alts no longer do. You just have to have tens of thousands. Like if you want to win in Ethereum, you're gonna have to have tens of thousands, $100,000. You missed the boat on Bitcoin if you want to get rich, unless you're aggressively leverage trading it, which I don't recommend either. And then the biggest part to me is the communities.
Yeah.
Meme coins have the most passionate and loudest communities in crypto. So this is where you might meet a good deal of friends here, or like these are people who really care about their token. It does get very tribal and all that type of stuff. So I think he did a very good job of summarizing why these, and he laid out the points too, why these will
Yeah.
absolutely beat the typical altcoins that we've looked at.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like you said, that's the thing. You have to look at the others' dominance. You have to. I mean, that's where the money's going. That's where retail's going. And like I said, we've seen in different other, I mean, well, in other industries where, like we said, like talk about in GameStop in the 2020, 2021 saga, where it's like, okay, they go and break a hedge fund. Like just thinking that was just retail money and that was just in stocks.
Yeah.
Well, more people are into crypto. It's, it's more international. Like, yeah, GameStop, you're caring about it if you're in America, right? But like international, they don't care that much. But Bitcoin is kind of the universal token and just crypto in general. And I think that's another part to like we look at is, and I think that's where having that background in Forex is going to come into to help with these meme coins is just looking at how the different industries and how the different regions, how that plays a part, in their, market psychological actions at this point. So
Yeah, and you're right. It is absolutely international too, because like forex is international. I mean, people all over the world trade euro, British pound, or Japanese yen, whatever it may be, and they trade those cross pairs. But like the American stock market for the most part is the American stock market. Crypto, whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum, it really has no borders, especially once you start getting into these decentralized exchanges, which is where you will find these tokens. So your Uniswaps and Pancake Swaps, Radium, Jupiter, all these decentralized exchanges where really the biggest skill in crypto is being able to find and copy and paste the correct contract address into the correct field. That is the biggest
yep.
skill in crypto, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's
Um,
access. And I think that's why I think baseball will do good with this cycle is because they're eliminating that issue of access. I mean, like I said, that was the biggest thing. Unless someone sent you the correct address or you knew, you were in the telegram to see what's going on, you're not getting the correct information or it's very hard to find because sometimes they just created an hour ago or whatever. And so yeah, you want those ones that have been around or that are easy accessible. And you're able to use your, already bigger exchanges to buy these coins. So like we said, looking at Phantom, taking on base and being able to use these different applications to get these tokens, that's what's really going to help scale it as well too.
yeah, I agree. And I think one thing that we've been seeing, because like, obviously everyone looks at crypto as like, oh, there's so many scams and whatnot. From my perspective, I think it's actually been getting safer over time because I
Yeah.
think now we have more tools to where I can look at something for about 5, 10 minutes and say, nope, scam. That's a
Yeah.
scam. You have bubble maps, you have things like Quill Check and Rug Check, and you can look at smart contract auditors and all this other type of stuff. So the era of just blindly getting into tokens and just like not understanding what am I actually getting into? Because like
Yeah.
that whole era, I think is largely behind us. I yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going to fall for scams and whatnot, but like it's I remember 2021, and people would just be getting sent all types of wild stuff. That I mean, just looking at it now, it's like, how did you
Yep.
fall for that? But we just have so many
And
more tools now.
and that's the thing, and they were putting a lot into it, 10, $15,000 at a time, and it's like, wow, that's
Yeah.
and and I will say, talking about celebrities, I think that's one thing that celebrities thankfully did push was we would see that. I mean, like Scottie Pippen, I think had a coin come out and he sold instantly. Like I think he might have been up like 100 or 200,000 and sold instantly, and it was like, Scotty, we seen what you were doing. We seen you buy it right before you launched it.
No, we
Like
can.
10 minutes.
Yeah, we can see you. Like,
Yeah, and I think that that's helped. Thankfully, like I said, those celebrities that are whether they're playing basketball, football, whatever, singers or whatever, musicians, them getting their audience to look into it, and even if it is a shit coin at that point, it helps out in the long run, like you said, because when they come back the next time, they know not to fall for that. So those ones that have gotten burned in those areas, like you said, whether it is one of the, I mean, majority of those are going to be those older coins. So I think that Murad talking about newer coins and those newer narratives are going to be the ones that go this cycle. I think it plays perfectly because, like I said, these celebrities are kind of burned it out at this point, thankfully. So,
yeah, and no, it's actually we can probably look that up while I'm here, but
mhm.
X.com. So let's just like look up celebrity tokens because we really need to see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so celebrity I want to see if they have the returns here. Because it was like literally if you saw them, they're all down like 97%, and they may not pull up. I don't know if it's gonna do it or not. But yeah, here's one. Yeah.
Okay.
So 30 celebrity tokens, and this was something that was done in July. So 30 celebrity tokens launched on Solana last month. Here's where they are now. So you got maybe it'll load for me today. I don't know. But anyway, you had like 50 Cent up top here. You had who was
Waka
this?
Flocka.
Waka Flocka, Sean Kingston,
Sean.
99.8%. So it's like you put if you put $100 in there, you are left with 2 pennies. You are
Two.
literally is it 2 pennies or like 20 cents or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah. We got
Um,
we got 2 cents for you.
Soldier Boy, Amber Rose, Barron Trump, Lil Pump is funny considering
Hmm.
going for Andrew Tate, and obviously these are probably down more at this point. That was July.
Yeah.
I genuinely have no idea who that is.
Oh, oh.
Person in the middle, but anyway, that I mean, long story short, that's like how the celebrities they profit obviously off of the hype that they have around their name. So somebody puts something up there, then that's like okay,
Yeah.
well this is their thing. Obviously it's going to do well. That has not been the case at all, and I don't think it will be the case moving over.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the only person that did good was Iggy with Mother,
mhm.
because it was on Soul and it just happened to be the first one. Like I mean, that's just what happened. She was the first one to it. So I know she did run it up to like 260 million. It's currently at like 75 million today.
Yeah,
But it's making lower highs. I think that it's I mean, I think that's done. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, she's kind of that original celebrity meme on Solana. So that's kind of the only one I expect to kind of do well.
yeah.
But yeah, she was probably the only one that I've seen successfully pull off a crypto launch.
And I would say too, with hers, I did see because like there was I guess some type of scammers or whatever who were out there like actually helping celebrities to launch the token, and obviously they would take some for themselves and dump what everything else dumped, and
Yep.
a lot of these celebrities were using this as like a second jump start to their career that's pretty much over with at this point. Um,
Yep. That's the funny part. Is
yeah,
it's
it
all
is.
like, celebrities on the down. Like it's like, okay, we know that you're hurting for it. We're not gonna do it. And that's why I say like it's hard for celebrities. There are only a few celebrities that I think could pull off a coin and they don't have to say anything and they'd be okay. But there are not many.
Yeah,
Um,
I was trying to find the ones that pretty much showed the best bit pretty much if you take crypto by category,
Mhm.
um, you have meme coins, which surprised me, obviously, that which it's the best returns. Like it was
Yep.
500% when everything else was either negative or like, oh, it returned, or this category turned 10% or something like
Hmm.
that. The people have spoken. Like the people have spoken in the sense of this is what we want. And at the end of the day, I believe in crypto technology. I believe in blockchain technology. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you to act like I'm not here purely for the game. It's like we're gonna get there eventually, but like I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't the cycle to care about use case scenario and things like no, we're here for the money. We can care about feelings later, after the 2025 cycle, but no, it's right now we're focusing on meme market cap hitting the 25x from here, which is crazy to think about.
Well, and I think about it too. Like we've compared it to the dot-com bubble a couple times too. You had all this craziness with the dot-com bubble, and
Mhm.
then from there, you had all this hype in let's say 2001, and then it came down, early Y2K, all that stuff, and then it came down, let's say 2001. After you had that, that's when you started developing like the Apples and the Facebooks and like all these other major tech behemoths that we have now. Yeah, you had to flush out all of the crap first. And not saying that the memes are crap because like they do have some utility, like the whole
Mhm.
aspect of having an online community that is big, and that's what a lot of people end up wanting to because it allows you to be a part of something. But um, a lot of these major tokens that will be like standards in the future, like these utility ones, that will be next cycle. And once everything
Yeah.
is well regulated and they pass all the tests and all that, but for now, it's like you make money where the money is to be made.
Yep. And
Yeah.
and that's the hard part about not being a crypto investor, getting into crypto, like which a lot of us normies are, where it's like we
Mm.
didn't know what crypto was a couple years ago, or we not that we didn't know what it was, we weren't prone to kind of all the inner workings, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the biggest thing now is just that we can't ignore it. We know that that's where the money is. I mean, like you said, just looking at the market cap, looking where the money inflows go for the next couple of months, we have to respect it. I mean, it's meme coins are too big to not respect, right? There's too many people, putting $12 in and making 300,000. Like, there's nowhere else you're doing it. Nowhere else.
No, and I mean, I even think about it like it's wild because it's really following the same trajectory that it did in 2021 because like it's a little weird. I think we'll really start to see a lot of movement coming into the end of this month and going into next month. But if you look at the memes that popped off last year,
Mhm.
actually, it was GameStop first. GameStop really kicked off everything, and then after that, you had Shiba Inu go, and you had Dogecoin go, and you had SafeMoon and all these other ones.
Mhm.
But it was around that January to late to early February timeframe when stuff was really um, just going ballistic, and
Yeah.
that kind of set the tone for the remaining. I would say like you hit the first peak in 2021 in about March or June, I can't remember,
Mhm.
and then you hit another one like in November maybe.
Yep.
Um, and I
Yep.
wonder if we'll see something. I wonder because I know last year, well, in 2021, it was like I think China had said something about banning all miners from, and that really sunk the market for a little bit, but it recovered. I wonder if this one will be a little bit more steady to where we don't see that major 2 or 3 month drop before it continues to hit the peak. But
Yeah,
who knows?
I think we've kind of already hit that like last couple shakeouts, I would say. And then now at this point, it's just everybody's sitting on their hands and kind of like waiting to see like who's the first one to call it. It's like, and I think that's kind of what's happening. It's like, okay, like y'all got some Bitcoin. Okay, y'all got some Bitcoin. Okay, y'all ain't telling nobody though, like, because you got to look at it. I mean, I mean, the government has a bunch of Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't sit here and act like crypto won't be the next thing. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of people sitting on, they're just waiting to be like, y'all got it, all right, y'all got it, all right, cool. Everybody straight, all right, cool. We just gonna wait. We just gonna wait. Because we
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen. We know around election time, that's where the money is. That's when retail comes in. They wait till a week or two before the election because they want to make some money going into the election. So, and at this point, we just get lucky that no matter which side you're on, crypto's gonna win.
Yeah. And they've been forced to talk about it, Democrats, Republicans, whoever, both sides are forced to talk about whatever the the crypto news of the day is because that's what people want. It's like 40% of Americans own crypto in some fashion. Um, and with that, I think that this cycle is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different in the sense that 2019, I mean, well, 2017, 2016, 2017, you had a huge supply. The supply was huge. 2013, obviously, the supply of Bitcoin on the market was huge. 2021, the supply is huge, but now we're in 2024, 2025, and you see people like MicroStrategy. You see people like countries and nations who are buying up Bitcoin at rates where it's like this. We only produce 450 a day. BlackRock bought 650 in one day the other day. So they bought everything for that one day plus half of the production for the next day too. And that's one entity.
So that's a good point. Look, and I think that's kind of the biggest indicator right now to show us that we're in that cycle is looking at MicroStrategy because we know that they're holding the most. I mean, it's pretty much a leverage bet at this point. You invest in MicroStrategy, we're putting it into Bitcoin. There's no, y'all know what we doing. They're trying to make a Bitcoin bank, right? And I mean, if you just look at it, I mean, they hit what 212 right now. I mean, it's over $200, but it's at an all-time high, and it looks like it's not slowing down. It's
no,
not.
and like a lot of people are like, oh, it hit an all-time high, it should pull back. No, stuff can go straight up for a while without turning around. And obviously there'll be pullbacks along the way, but nothing significant for you enough to actually get any type of gains that you wouldn't have just been better off getting right now.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting, man. Like, but I think we pretty much covered it with the memes aspect of it. I'm under the impression that this will be the money maker this cycle.
Yep.
Everything that Murad said in his presentation, and I mean, it's not like we were waiting on his presentation. It was just a confirmation more so.
Yep.
A lot of the stuff that we already knew, he just added that level of confirmation in the last couple of weeks with this presentation. But we've been looking at this since March and even before, really. So like December timeframe, and really kind of kicked it up in March. So
yeah, I will say that after watching his interview and our presentation, it was almost like I wasn't bullish enough. That's kind
no,
of where I got.
no, genuinely, like genuinely.
Like, cause it's I mean, of course, like we said, we know, I mean, all of us know alts and meme coins are going to go crazy. Meme coins are going to take over, but it's like, we didn't realize the money that was in it. And you don't see it until you start seeing like trillion behind it. And you're like, wait, how much? You know what I'm saying? Like you can't grasp that amount. And like I said, especially if you get those top 5 to 10 memes, like he's talking about, where it's like, I mean, it's going to be billions to inflow into that and just see what it does to the regular stock market. I mean, the crypto is like, leveraged 100x times that. So it's like $1,000 going to have $1 million impact at that point.
Well, and like I'm just looking at what's on the screen right now. So it's like a $1 trillion Bitcoin meme market cap, and so it's currently at $40 billion. So you have, and you think about the big ones right now, and then I think that 40 billion is including like the legacy ones like Doge and Shiba Inu and all that other type of stuff. But like Whiff and Bonk, those are less than 5 billion a piece. And you're talking about those. It says right now we have 2 meme coins that are. Oh no, wait. This is saying like once it's all said and done, you'll have 2 meme coins that are above 100 bill, 10 that are above 10 bill. But like, let's say we think about some of these that are above, below, let's say, a million market cap right now. And he only put the ones that are up to 10 bill. If we get to a billion, let's say you get to a billion on something like GameStop, that's at 3 to 400 million. That's at 3 to 400,000 right now. Like no, that's genuinely that's game over money. I'm done. I'm not trading anymore. Like
I'm not coming back to work. Hey, tell your boss I'm done. Yeah. I got now this what I have 10 billion on my literally written on my board right there for GameStop. I think that is going to be one of those ones that does hit 10 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Whiff is at 2.5 billion. And that was one of those ones that, like we said, that was a bear market. That was 2023 when it got, out of here. And it's like, okay, if that's doing 2 to 3 billion, I mean, it did 5 billion already. But like I said, just looking at that one already, it's like, okay, we expect Whiff to do what, 10 billion this cycle? If
Yep.
it's already at 2.5, I mean, we expect at least a 10 billion, and that's on the low end, right?
At least,
And
yeah, at least.
after that point, it's like, okay, why do you keep believing, right? And I think that's what's going to happen is like with Brad and some of those other ones that we need a few of those to hit a billion already to show that it's possible. And now it's like, okay, let's put it into those narratives that are, worth it, right?
Yeah,
So,
and like you said, once it gets higher and higher and higher, yeah, I mean, once people realize, oh, I can probably, let's say WIF gets to like 10 billion. I have no idea where it's going to go to, right? But let's say it gets to like 25 billion. So at that point, people are looking at it, it's like, dang, I need another 25 billion to get a 2x.
yep,
Oh, like they're gonna that's when the rotation happens. The
yep,
rotation starts to happen when people realize, okay, these big ones, they're cooked. They're done.
yep,
Like well, if I didn't get in already, then you start to have, and the last part happens very quickly because like all of that money pours over at one time into like these little small tokens. And then that's why the end of the crypto market is so spectacular because everyone is getting rich all at one time and
yep.
like they
And
lose their mind. They lose their mind for like 2 months. Like, but yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, I mean, at this point, if your token is over 10 million right now, it's probably not gonna. I mean, yeah, it might do okay in the cycle, but it's not gonna hit those life-changing money. The ones you want are the ones that are under a million right now, and you're just sitting there waiting. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it could be under 10 million, but I mean, realistically, under like 2 to 3 million, those are gonna be those ones, like you said, that get in and people are like, oh, well, that's a new one. Because it's only, like you said, it's only at 10 million now. It's only at 100 million. Yeah, so 10x to a billion ain't bad, like
no,
so that's the thing too, is like once we hit 100 million at like some of those lower cap, that's when it starts getting interesting because people, like I said, are thinking in tens. And so it's like you better, I hope you got a couple, like people listening. I hope they have like ones that are in their portfolio that haven't hit yet. Cause I mean, if it's already at 60, 70 million, I mean, yeah, a billion is kind of the cap at that point. Like it's not gonna be many unless they have that motion to keep going past a billion, but not too many will.
well, yeah, because it's like and we do it at levels, right? We just say talk about tens. 10 isn't life changing money. It's good money. It's 1,000%. 100x, that's pretty good, but still not quite life changing. But like,
Hmm.
if you
It's
start hitting
comfortable.
multiple 100x's on multiple different things, and then you start hitting 1,000, if 1,000x could change your life, that will absolutely change your life because like let's say you only put 100, let's say you put 1,000 into 1,000, well, that's a meal. Like
That's a meal. Yep.
that's a meal. I think
Yep.
most people in crypto are probably putting in at least $1,000, and obviously those 1,000 extras are not easy to come by.
Right.
But still, even if it's a 500x, somewhere in between that 100 to 1,000, 500 is still pretty life changing.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's the thing too, is like you said, looking at kind of those averages of where they got in. Um, but yeah, like I said, if we see the average buy at $500 or $1,000, I think the biggest thing is when are people getting in, right? Like, I mean, of course, right now we're kind of accumulating, so a lot of stuff is down. Of course, the last 2 days it's up, but just over the last couple of months we've been down. But that's another thing to look at is where are a lot of the people accumulating these buys at. So it's gonna be
yeah.
some very important stuff to look at during the peak of this market.
Okay. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It is
Yeah.
exciting. The next couple months, I think we're all gonna have a very Merry Christmas and all that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
I think
That definitely.
we can probably wrap it there. I think it's been
Yeah.
about an hour or so. So we'll chop this up again and get some good clips out of it when it's time to do all the marketing and whatnot. So uh,
Sounds good.
yeah, this has been a conversation with Mike, Big Trav. We're talking about memes and whatnot. This has been Chris with Chris Talks Crypto and Pulse on Crypto. I think one of the best communities in crypto for sure. But we will definitely we'll be around and we'll be talking. So
Yeah. Stay bullish.
stay bullish.
All
All right, man.
right. Okay, cool.
Cool.
All right, bet.
All right, man. I'll
All
talk to you
right,
later.
bet. All right, be safe.
Yep.
Thanks.